I am glad the Me Too movement has happened. I am grateful that the women who have been abused, whether sexually or just trying to get ahead with jobs, however men use their power to abuse them, I'm so glad they've had some bit of vindication through all the stuff that's happened over the past year or so, starting with Harvey Weinstein. But I want to make an awful statement about our politics, and it's this. If Hillary Clinton had won the presidency, the Me Too movement, I don't believe for a second would have ever happened. Now, here's how it happened anyway. Ronan Farrow, who is a liberal, worked for the MSNBC and was on staff of NBC. He was the one that broke the story about Harvey Weinstein, which of course started the whole floodgates. Well, when he came up with a story, MSNBC said, nope, we're not going to run it. No big surprise. That's our politics. But thankfully, the New Yorker magazine, which that's too is a liberal rag, but they were willing to run with it. But I don't think it would have ever happened if Hillary had been in charge. That's my point. You see, Harvey Weinstein was like the number one biggest supporter of Hillary and Bill Clinton and the Democrats. Not just his financial support, his activism, his power, everything he did was for the Clintons. I promise you, if Hillary had won, when they had those inaugural balls, the biggest and the best would have been funded and planned by Harvey Weinstein. And not to mention Harvey, but if she had won and all this sexual assault stuff had come out, think about who she would be living with back in the White House, her husband, Bill. Remember him? He's the guy that did some nasty things to a White House intern when he was there. And you know what? I don't care if it was consensual. That is disgusting. It just never would have happened. And so I'm not giving Trump credit for any of this, but it's a sad state that the establishment, or what we call the swamp, would go to just horrible, evil ends to protect their power. And let me be clear. If Harvey had been a Republican, if all of Hollywood was Republican, if the press was Republican, man, that's funny, isn't it? Hey, would have done the exact same thing. Same thing, because they too are all about keeping the power within the establishment. And you may say, hey, Bill, what about Trump? Hey, I recognize Trump's failures. And you know what? I don't know when we as Americans will ever start voting on character issues, but we need to start thinking about that. Because you know what? Trump's a horrible example to our kids. The language he uses, I totally disapprove. I mean, he's not a good example for our kids. I mean, are you kidding me? We elected a president that can't even be a good example with our children? Well, that's what we did. And then I'm sick of hearing about his sexual history. I don't want to know. I don't want to go there. There's no doubt that a lot of it is true because that's who he is. But you know what I was faced with at the last presidential election? I had two people who had proven throughout their entire lives and careers they would screw anybody to get ahead, to keep their power, or to make themselves rich. I voted for Trump because honestly, I thought Hillary was even worse than him.